Welcome to the final episode of the RaceRex Motocross Show on Motocross.com, presented by Toyota Trucks. The American Motocross Festival is finished, and that means with it, the AMA Toyota Motocross Championship presented by FMF is done as well. He's Andy Boyer. I'm Jason Wygant. A lot on the line today, even though the championships are wrapped up. James Stewart and Ryan Villopoto going for $25,000 worth of Monster Triple Crown money. And Stewart going for a perfect season, which apparently is very nerve-wracking because I think he was a little cautious today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's been winning by half a minute and then sometimes up to a minute. And that moto, that last one, the perfect season decided moto, he barely won. And he looked tentative as heck. So, you know, the pressure was on. It was the end of the season. It was just, it was a great day. You know, and for James Stewart, he did it. Perfect season in the books, man.
And the first ever Saturday Nationals in the books as well. A lot of experiments this year with the night race in Colorado, the daytime race here. We'll have amateur racing tomorrow. So come to the track if you're watching this right now on your Sunday morning. If not, just enjoy the highlights. First, we're going to get to the AMA Motocross Lights class.
On the start line here at Steel City from Moto number 1 of the Lights class. Josh Grant is back. He's got some fast lap times, but Ryan Dungey is also very, very fast. I think we're ready to see that showdown we've all been waiting for.
Well, Erin Normoyle knows what she's talking about here because you're going to see off the start that Dungey and Grant are going to get good starts, but not the best start. That's going to go to Matt Lemoyne, the young Texan on the Division 7 Star Racing machine. He gets the whole shot, but Grant quickly goes by him. And outside of the pack there, you see him coming around as Ryan Villopoto in about 20th. And you do not want to give Josh Grant an early lead like this. That guy can sprint with the best of them.
Yeah, it set up a really good race. You know, you don't want to see the guys leading the points that's already wrapped up the championship get the whole shot. You definitely, you know, Villopoto did not get the whole shot. Grant, one of his fastest competitors, did. We knew it was on from here.
Then Dungey moves into second, Izzy into third, but that was all Lemoyne was going to let these guys have. He battled Izzy the entire race. Lemoyne was not going to go anywhere. He was inspired with that start. A couple laps into it here, you see Metcalf moving into the top 5. You got Ryan Sipes, Phil Nicoletti, and finally Villopoto, but he wasn't moving up as quickly as he usually does.
Yeah, the track didn't really allow a guy to make up a lot of time. It was good. It had a lot of different lines. It was very wide, but it was super fast. And when the track's fast like that, it's hard to really gain a lot of advantage on your competition.
Izzy finally gets around his teammate Metcalf, so he's going to take one position up there. We go back up front, you can see Ryan Dungey now at lap 4 starting to close the gap on Josh Grant. But make no mistake about it, Grant's one of the hardest guys in this sport to pass. Look at that.
Yeah, that kind of set up something was going to happen later in the moto. Guys start getting tired, they start getting aggressive. It's just kind of, that happens in racing, and that's one of the good things about training is you don't have to worry about that.
Well, Dungey doesn't have to worry about Grant for long, although Grant gave him a good run here for a lap or two, but eventually Dungey's going to start putting a little distance on. We'll shift back to the battle for third, fourth, and fifth, and here comes Villopoto. He has caught Izzy and Lemoyne, and we expected him to make quick work of these guys, but they were stubborn today.
Yeah, everybody wants to ride hard. They see that number 1 plate and it has red on it, and I think they just get red in their eyes, and they don't let him go by. They race him really hard, as they should, and like we'll see right here, he probably thought he was going to make quick work of Nico, and Nico gave him a little bit of trouble here.
Okay, so Villopoto goes around the outside. This is the old finish line turn, the left-hander. Is he going to square him back underneath? And here we go with a little bit of contact, but well aimed because it actually bends the shifter on Villopoto's bike. You see Lemoyne immediately get him back as well, and now Villopoto losing ground quickly. A 250F that you can't shift is pretty much useless on a track like this.
Yeah, and he's losing ground, but a little bit more painful was losing that $25,000 right there with the Monster Triple Crown.
Yeah, because at this point he wasn't going to get in the top 2 or 3, which is where you need to finish to even have a shot at the overall. And as you can see, we said that Lemoyne and Izzy were battling this entire race. We're not kidding around. Lemoyne was, and he eventually is going to break Izzy and just take the number 2 position uncontested. Meanwhile, Villopoto into the pits. They had a lot of work to do. He was losing ground quickly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He's had a really good season. He shouldn't be too bummed out about it. He's been pretty fortunate in his career. He already won the championship. It's just it's one of those deals with racing.
And then some bad luck for Josh Grant, still cruising around the number 2 position, but then he starts having some engine trouble. So here comes Lemoyne and the rest of the boys, and there's nothing he can do. They just ride right by him, And then before long, Grant is going to go out of this moto. So that'll move Lemoyne up to second.
Yeah, not a boy for Matt Lemoyne. That's when preparation meets opportunity, and he had some opportunity here, and what ended up was the best moto of his career.
Grant's still struggling out there, and eventually he's going to call it quits in this one. So now you've got Villopoto and Grant out. But the fans still like Josh Grant. They appreciate that effort, leading a couple laps and doing everything he could to try to stay up there until the bike prevented it from happening. Here comes Metcalf now rolling up on Nico Izzi. It's going to be a battle for your final podium spot. And you know Metcalf's always strong late in these motos, Andy.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. You know, in a 30-minute moto, a lot of times guys go really fast at the beginning, then they blow up, and they kind of gather themselves back together, make another charge. We saw this 2 or 3 times with Izzy and Metcalf throughout this race.
A little support from Austin Stroop. Remember that guy? Won the season opener at Glen Helen. He was here. He's still a little banged up with some rib injuries, but he was cheering his teammates on.
He'll be back.
Lemoyne going to finish second. That's a career best. And I guess we could say Dungey tied his career best because he wins a moto. But this is actually his first moto win. He's getting a couple of overalls with 2 1s. Nice job whipping that thing over the finish line. And Dungey's got it. Lemoyne takes the whole shot. Remember, Villopoto and Grant, zilch on points.
Even though Ryan Villopoto and Josh Grant were unable to finish Moto number 1, it doesn't affect their gate pick for Moto number 2 as it was based on time qualifying. Now Ryan Villopoto is out of the hunt for the Monster Triple Crown, but I'm sure he'll be back with a vengeance in this race.
Indeed, Villopoto is lined up right next to Nico Izzi because remember the little run-in they had of that moto, but Izzy not intimidated. Yes, he is. No, he isn't. Izzy isn't. Actually, always confuses me. How about Blake Wharton gets the whole shot?
Oh.
Look at that. Down, and Villopoto goes down with him. So much for the revenge of Villopoto.
Yeah, unbelievable. It was just a bummer weekend for Villopoto all around. But like I said, he won the championship. He can't be too bummed out. He's healthy. Well, somewhat healthy.
Well, we thought he was hurt because he was actually just stuck under his bike. It took him a long time to get up. He ends up about 3/4 of a lap behind the field. But credit to the champ. 0 points in the first moto. Nothing to gain in Moto 2. He stayed out there the whole time and finished 16th. So DNF 16 for Ryan Villopoto today.
Yeah, it's pretty painful, like we said. But you know, when the guy that's favored to win goes down, we also get excited because now we know we really got a race in our hands.
Well, it's Dungey out front early. He's got Josh Grant there right behind him. A little rematch from their first moto duel. And Grant, as always, very fast early. The moto's staying with him. And the pack goes back pretty deep. You got Metcalf in there, Stephen Clark, the young Englishman, Jake Weimer, Matt Lemoyne, Nico Izzi, Brock Tickle. They're all there in the hunt. So that means these podium positions are very much up for grabs. But as Dungey starts to wheel away, he was pretty sure a lock on that number 1 spot.
Yeah, as this race developed, it got really interesting. The guys in the front, it looked like they were going to begin to stretch away and establish himself as 1 and 2. But no, it got really shaken up. Nico Izzi caught fire and really came on.
Yeah, he did. First, he's got to get around Stephen Clark here, and he's got Matt Lemoyne right behind him. And Lemoyne had been showing Izzy wheels all weekend long, so Izzy realized, I got to get around this Stephen Clark guy before Lemoyne goes around the outside. And Clark, give him credit, this young rookie, only his second national, he wasn't exactly holding these guys up. He was in 5th. He was running the pace. Izzy and Lemoyne right behind him. Third is Grant, second. Third is Metcalf. 4th, Weimer. And here comes Clark, still dealing with all kinds of pressure from Izzy. And look at the different lines Izzy was trying to get around that guy.
Izzy was fired up. It seemed like he didn't have quite the determination that first moto after his thing with Villopoto. Maybe they had some words between the motos that got him upset, but whatever it was, he certainly went nuts the second moto. And as we're going to see a battle shape up here, it's going to be incredible between him, Weimer, and Metcalf.
And when he gets around Clark, he's going to leave Lemoyne behind. Lemoyne cannot get around Clark, and that allows Izzy to finally get away from Lemoyne for the first time in these motos. And like you said, he just went nuts. Look at this. He goes after Jake Weimer, Nico Izzi. So that's Josh Grant that he's trying to get around there. He gets around him. Grant starting to head to the back. And then next on his list is going to be Brett Metcalf. I'm telling you what, Izzy, this is the best performance he's put in since Budge Creek.
And here comes the battle. These 3 guys are 3 of the fastest guys in the lights class. Weimer, he's been a little bit inconsistent. Izzy's been strong. He's been injured. Then we got Metcalf who's just trying to get that first win. And you're going to see 3 fits of determination here that went pretty good for the fans.
I think at this point, most people would have figured once Metcalf was into the number 2 spot, that position was his. But Izzy was coming. First, he puts a nice move around the outside of Weimer. Weimer gets fired up. He decides to go with Izzy, and they go after Metcalf. And they're all duking it out for this number 2 position with Ryan Dungey out front of it all, looking at his first ever 1-1. Look at Weimer trying to get Izzy back, and Izzy going all the way up the side of the track to try to maintain some smooth lines.
Yeah, this was some really good racing. Dungey checked out. It was just his weekend, but behind him, these 3 guys were trying to. All 3 had something to prove, and it was really cool to see these guys go back and forth.
And Izzy's eventually going to make the move on Metcalf, which leaves Metcalf and Weimer battling. Metcalf washes out. Weimer almost runs into him. Good job by Weimer to get on the binders so he didn't run the guy over. But that's going to put Weimer into third, and that's huge because podium overall, with this crash and Metcalf getting stuck under his bike like Villopoto, Metcalf just threw away an overall podium there.
Yeah, just when we thought the excitement was over, Metcalf was out of the picture, but it still wasn't settled between Izzy and Weimer, and it got pretty interesting.
Yeah, right down to the end, Weimer kept the pressure on Izzy as they battled for second and third. Let's give a shout-out to some of the other riders in the hunt. Look at how hard Weimer's going for it here, scrubbing over each and every one of those whoops. Meanwhile, Ryan Dungey out front. As we said, Weimer and Izzy battling for the number 2 spot. And then a shout-out to Brock Tickle and Kyle Chisholm, who are riding well, battling inside the top 5 as well. The first ever 1-1 career day for our winner, Ryan Dungey. Izzy and Weimer are going to take the final podium spots. Metcalf and Brock Tickle going to round out the top 5. And by the way, Blake Wharton, after that crash, came all the way back to 9th. Let's go to the press conference.
For sure, I've had an up and down season, and it's been really difficult. Like Supercross was definitely up and down. Didn't qualify, won Phoenix, didn't qualify. I've been all over the map, and outdoors has been a little bit of the same. I started off doing all right, and then I kind of had a slump in the middle, and then kind of picked it up a little bit the last couple rounds, and I guess here I am at the last round. It's definitely nice to end the outdoor season with a podium, but even if this wouldn't have happened, I feel pretty confident. Like I'm way more confident in Supercross. I like Supercross. I like outdoors too. It's harder for me, period. Like I just feel a lot more comfortable riding Supercross. So it's definitely a confidence booster though, going into, start testing and getting ready for Supercross 09. It's definitely nice to, end it this way. I think most of you know that I'll be riding for Pro Circuit in 09. At this point, I have no idea what coast I'll be riding. I personally would like to ride West, but I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's been a huge roller coaster ride. I didn't start out good at all. At first or second moto at Glen Helen, my bike broke and DNF'd, and then second moto at Hangtown, I got knocked out. Didn't even race Texas, so I took a week off and came back, and then I got my first podium at High Point, and I kind of just boosted my confidence a little bit, and then I went to Colorado and I did really good there, and even at Redbud, I finished in the top 5. So maybe the week off was good for me. I sat on the couch and kind of realized what I really wanted, and I realized that sitting on the couch wasn't fun, and I wanted to be out racing, so I came back stronger and better than ever. I got a really bad start. Villopoto almost took me out in the start, but it's racing, and I was probably around 10th, and there's a lot of guys trying to clean me up, but I was just trying to make it through clean and easy, and I kind of got into, I think, 4th or 5th, and I seen Jake and Medi, I think they were about 5 or 6 seconds ahead, and I just put the hammer down. I was really tired, but I really wanted to catch up to them and pass them both, and accomplished it, and it was good. It was a really good race. It was probably the best moto all year for me. Yeah, the whole Pro Circuit team was pretty bummed at me, but he passed me, and I just squared him back up and passed him back, and I knew he seen me, and I think he hit me. I just because he has a number 1 plate on his bike doesn't mean I'm going to pull over for him. It's all racing, and I'm just out there trying to do the best I can do, and unfortunately it bent his shifter back, and he had to pull off and stuff. But I have all the respect in the world for the guy, and I apologized to him, and he was still pretty bummed at me before the start. We started right next to each other, so I apologized, and he was still pretty pissed off. So he kind of returned the favor on the start.
Yeah, I said that to my parents. Like, I didn't go 1-1 yet, and I've been 2-1, but to get both moto wins, it was awesome, and I almost led every lap too, except like 3 or 4. I don't know how many, but I really it just I hadn't had that experience really being up front both motos, and dude, like, to be leading out there, you just get in a groove and you settle in, and it's just a great feeling. So got to experience that a little more, and it was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to next year's championship. I know Ryan's going to be in the 450 class, and he was a pretty big competitor this year, but I really want to set the bar next year and be that guy, and to be consistent and get some more wins throughout the whole season. But No, definitely. I feel strong. It's good to experience these last few rounds. The last 3 wins I've had, to experience that puts a lot of confidence, into my belt, and just really prepare myself for next year, know what to expect more.
Well, here at the office, the phones are always ringing off the hook. We just couldn't handle all the calls. So we brought in a guy who we thought could get the job done.
Racerex, hold please. Jason Wygant, call on line 15.
8.74. Dude, you're 7/10 off. You need to pick it up a little bit.
Productivity is up around here, and we're just really lucky to have good help.
Billy, let's take line 3.
Excuse me. Hi, this is Billy.
Truckers told us to give him a heck of a truck. He told us not to pull any punches. So we gave them a big engine, big towing, big frame, and big brakes. What'd we get out of it? A big old pat on the back. The 2008 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the Toyota Tundra. The truck that's changing it all.
All right, welcome back to the RacerX Motocross Show on Motocross.com, presented by Toyota Trucks. Andy and Jason here from Steel City, and the sun is just about to set because we had a lot of extra racing today. We had a WMA moto, we had an ATV moto, and, of course, 4 motos with the best riders on 2 wheels on the planet. So we could barely cram it all in today. It was a banner day.
It's still going, too. We got a concert going on over
Yeah.
here. There's still lots of fans here. It's just been a long day of lots of good racing. The women's stuff was off the hook. James Stewart's perfect season. The quad guys put on a show. There's a lot of firsts, but, it's Steel City. It's always good.
Absolutely. Now, it's a bit of an upset with Villopoto not claiming the Monster Money in the lights class. James Stewart had some history of his own to make. Monster Money and a perfect season on the line. Let's get to the highlights from the AMA Motocross class.
We saw quite an upset in the lights class. We now transition to the motocross class. James Stewart is going for the perfect season and the Monster Triple Crown. Can he pull it off? Let's check it out.
Yeah, so a little pressure here on the number 7 of James Stewart, knowing that this perfect season on the line. Now, technically, yes, it's been on the line at every race this year. We got a helmet cam going, by the way. This is what it's like to get a mid-pack start with a bunch of Works 450s. Thanks for the help, Jacob Morrison. Now, there's Stewart getting the whole shot. Look who that is challenging him. Jimmy Albertson on that Works 450 Honda, making it work.
Yeah, that thing must be feeling pretty good. I don't know what would feel better, challenging James Stewart or doing it on a factory 450 like that.
He was definitely fired up, and Albertson, as you know, riding with a bad shoulder, he was barely even able to get out here, but he went that fast early on. And here's a battle shaping up for third between Brock Hepler and Tim Ferry in the first lap, and that battle would basically last all the way through this moto once they got around Albertson, who, again, is riding with a bad shoulder.
Yeah, what could have been there? He waited his whole life to have the opportunity, and then he got hurt, but, he's doing pretty good with the bum shoulder.
He might have been on the podium. Who knows? He definitely showed some speed early. Eventually, Michael Byrne's going to put the pressure and get around him as well. We thought Byrne might be able to challenge Hepler, but eventually Hepler's going to get away and stick with Ferry. And Ferry and Hepler are going to wage some more. And Andrew Short just seemed to struggle a bit today. Just couldn't run the pace of Hepler, Ferry, or Byrne.
Yeah, I don't know what was more surprising, how fast Hepler was or how much Shorty struggled. Everybody wanted to see the big battle one more time that Ferry and Short had, but instead of Ferry battling Short, he had the old Iceman on his hands this time.
Yeah, Hepler obviously knows his way around this Steel City track as well as anyone. Makes the move on Ferry. Ferry was not happy about this. Look at him jumping and bottoming out at the bottom of this hill, and then Hepler just pays him back again. So Ferry goes to work on Hepler for the 3rd time. And these guys just battle like this, and this was really the race to watch with Stewart checking out front. Looks like Hepler has Ferry covered for a little while, but old Red Dog doesn't give up.
Yeah, that we all knew this was going to be cool. We knew Brock was going to be fast here, but, when you're battling a guy and you've been injured all year, Timmy Ferry's got 25, 35, 45 years of being in good shape.
Yeah, that's
and he wasn't going to get tired, and Brock figured that out.
Yep, so Ferry goes back. Look at him landing on the inside of that new Dunlop double there. So Ferry eventually catches Hepler again. Now in the second half of the moto, we're going to have our 3rd set of battling between Ferry and Hepler. Ferry finally gets him. Looks like it's over again, right? Now Ferry's finally going to wear the guy down. Hepler's only ridden 2 nationals this year. Nope, Hepler's just going to go to the inside and take the position back.
Look at this. This really shows the strength of the track. The changes that Mark Peters made, it allowed for racing like this. You could go inside. You could go outside. You could take different lines in the turns. You could square guys up. It was just really entertaining to watch.
Finally, at about the 28-minute mark of the moto, Hepler's finally been broken down. He stays very close to Ferry, but not close enough to pull off another pass. And the Red Dog, who Grant Langston on our webcast said he's going to start calling him Red Wine because the guy's 32 years old and just keeps getting faster by the race. He holds on for second, but there was no challenge in James Stewart as usual.
Yeah, there's not a guy. That guy right there does not need to get any faster, that's for sure. But
No.
it's been his year. He's been waiting for his time, and it is his time.
You know, when we see what happened to Villapoto in that first moto, it makes it realize just how tough it is to have a perfect season. James Stewart, no trouble here. 23 out of 23, and a huge crowd at Steel City here to congratulate him. And a whole shot award for good measure. Perfect season on the line for James Stewart. It seems ridiculous that that's not a record in this sport because Ricky Carmichael has done it twice. But I think it got to Stewart just a little bit. He was a little nervous here. And then Jimmy Albertson, the Cinderella story continues. He doesn't just get a good start, he gets the whole shot this time.
Yeah, it had to feel good. You know, it was, for Stewart, you know, only one guy in the history of the whole sport's ever done it. You know it had to be weighing on him. And he's had a little bit of bad luck in his career. So coming into this last moto, you know, he looked a little bit off, but not much. Enough to get it done.
Yeah, so Albertson and Byrne and Hepler have good starts. Stewart's got to get around those guys. We thought Albertson might be able to even lead a lap out here, but Stewart works his magic and just instantly is by these guys. And by the end of lap 1, Stewart's in the lead again. Albertson did all he could, again, riding with a bad shoulder. Just wanted to keep that bike up there as long as he could, but eventually he's going to yield to Byrne and Hepler. And then Ferry had a pretty good start in this one as well. And the battle was on between Byrne, Hepler, and Ferry. Stewart was trying to pull away, but not as much as you would expect.
Yeah, the pressure was weighing on him. You know, he got into the lead, started to sprint, and everybody saw him making a couple of mistakes. He pushed the front tire here, did a couple scrubs that got away from him, and he just tightened up. You know, 24 for 24. That's an amazing feat, and he was thinking about it.
Byrne was in second for a while, then Hepler's going to get around him, and then Ferry's going to work his way around Byrne, which is going to set us up for another spectacular Ferry versus Hepler showdown for second in the moto. And of course, Hepler would love to finish second here at his home track, but I think that motivated Ferry a little bit. He wanted to make sure that Hepler didn't get those positions, and they battled again just like they did in the first moto. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, Ferry, he's been a little bit frustrated. He was really strong in the beginning of the series, kind of established himself as the second or third guy, and then he just had bad starts and crashes, and you could see a little bit of that frustration all weekend in his mannerisms on the bike.
Yeah, he definitely rode with some anger. The red dog was a little bit red this time, and eventually he's going to make it around his other red head, Brock Hepler, get to the number 2 spot. Hepler keeps him close all the way down to the end for third, and they never fell more than 8 seconds behind Stewart. And everyone also got faster as this moto went on. Lap 12, lap 13, that's when everybody started putting in their best laps. It was odd the way the track shaped up today.
Yeah, I think a lot of that goes to the track changes. They were still discovering new things as they went throughout the moto. Jake Weimer in the lights class had his fast lap on the last lap of his moto. And these guys, they got faster as the race went on. They were setting up their turns, trying new things, and just kind of acquainting themselves with the new changes.
Just to keep the crowd on edge, Stewart was never more than one big mistake away from losing this one, but guess what, folks? He was perfect all season. He remains perfect into the second moto today, and James Stewart history has made 24 out of 24. Tim Ferry ends up about 5 seconds back at the number 2 spot, with Hepler right behind him, Byrne and Josh Hill rounding out the top 5, and good job by Jimmy Albertson to hang on for 6th with a bad shoulder. But as for James Stewart, he's perfect, just like Ricky Carmichael was in 2002 and 2004. Let's go down to the press conference and see what it was like for Hepler, Ferry, and Stewart.
Well, I mean, it's a little more pressure. Just the home race, I have so much friends and family here. I want to do good. I let myself down. I let them too if I want to do good. So, I really wanted to do well here in the last race of the year. I struggled the last 2 races, so I kind of wanted to put a little exclamation point on my season. Man, it was great. I mean, it's hard to say that whenever you lose, but it was a great battle. I think Timmy and I should have all the TV time, even though James has a perfect season. Yeah, it was a great battle. I was kind of bummed that Timmy got me both motos, but he was riding great. He had some better lines than me, and I just couldn't get him. He passed me both motos and got me. Actually, that's still up in the air. I'd like to ride the 450, but that's a long Supercross season, and that'd take it'd be hard to do that goal to race that long of a series and stay injury-free and be fast to, beat James and Chad and, all those guys. So I think the 450s will be really tough next year, and I don't know. We're still deciding which way to go.
The battle me and Andrew have had, all season. I think the one me and Brock had trumps, almost all those that we had, that first moto. So I don't know. I think second was good. Obviously I wanted to. I didn't want James to have that perfect season. That's our job to, to win races. But he came out on fire this year, and he rode flawless. Well, I don't know. It's that's tough to say. I think I've had my best year so far, result-wise, and barring that little injury I had in Supercross, I would have been probably been third overall again. So I'm riding the best I've ever have, and I kind of made some improvements actually on the bike this weekend, and I kind of felt like I actually could kind of hit my turns like I used to be. I used to be really good at turns, I thought, and kind of struggled a little bit this year. So I don't know. I feel like I'm learning, each week, and every year it's these young guys are coming up, they're doing new things, but somehow able to adapt. It's tough to say. I think it was one of the best races. I think Hangtown was maybe a little bit better of a race for me, but this was more of a personal victory for me. I've been actually battling some injuries. I've actually broke a vertebrae in my back before Washougal. I just didn't never told anybody. And like Brock said, those last two races were pretty brutal. So to come back and finish the season off the last race and feel strong, it's going to make the off season a lot better.
I just didn't want to get to 23-0 and just blow it the last moto. And the track was definitely tricky. It was really slippery, and I made a few mistakes out there, and I just tried to put some good laps in. Just something where I felt like comfortable going with the speed and stuff, and still able to get the job done, which is for me was I was happy about that, but I was a little nervous. Yeah, for me it was just after the last few seasons I had in outdoors, just having a hard time, really just finishing the season, and just crashing a lot, and and a lot of stuff. There was a lot of weight that was lifted off my shoulders right then, and then for me to just come having a surgery and stuff, and then coming to Glen Helen not really knowing how I was going to do, and then to win Glen Helen and then win every single race from there on out. It was pretty special. I'll be lying to you if I told you I can do that for sure. Yeah, I think watching Ricky do it, I felt like, man, that was pretty special. I thought that was really cool for him to do that, and like you said, man, it's a lot of luck involved. Straight up. There's not, you got to have it. You obviously got to have the talent and the ability to do it, but you got to have luck. And that's why I felt like, for me, it gives me a lot of confidence going into Supercross, because I felt like my luck's definitely going to change. And, it relies on everybody, every bolt from Mike Williamson put on that bike, and, the rain, how everybody said it was going to be a monsoon this weekend, and then it didn't rain or drop, and, Unadilla, all those things, it's pretty special. And, like Anthony told me, every year somebody wins a championship. So, champions always crowned in something, but you rarely ever see somebody do like a perfect, undefeated thing and go perfection. And Ricky did that twice, and I'm just honored to be able to say my name in that same category.
Well, with heavy hearts and sound minds, we wrap this 2008 series up. That's our second year of the RacerX Motocross Show, Motocross.com, presented by Toyota Trucks. It's history, and that means the season goes with it. And honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do at my weekends for the next 5 months, man. There's nothing to do. I'm bored.
Well, yeah, we'll see what you do with your downtime, because you never have downtime. You got, what, a wedding coming up?
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal, but nothing compared to motocross. That's where
Exactly.
it's at. And it was a good season this year. Certainly history, but you know what? The last time we had two riders dominate, like Ryan Villapoto and James Stewart did, was when Stewart and Carmichael did it in 04. And you know what came after 04? A ridiculous season 2005. So we're bracing ourselves for good things next year.
Yeah, the season got off to a slow start. A lot of guys got injured, and it seemed like things were going to be bleak. And all of a sudden we have a perfect season on our hands. We have the emergence of Cody Cooper. We have surprise performances and arrivals from like Mark DeRuver and Southwick. Each week provided something different. We had J-Law. We had pretty much everything. And it was a great season all the way to the last moto.
Yeah, we hope you folks enjoyed it too. And that's not sickness there. I'm actually just getting choked up. To all of our boys, Wes and Matty Fran, and I'm not supposed to look at that camera, but that's Rob Zwitek over there. I want to thank all you guys for being there at every round, every race, and, of course, you folks at home. And, Andy, you did a good job. You won because you're the last co-host standing, so congratulations.
Well, thanks a lot,
yeah.
Weege. It's truly a pleasure to be in the presence of a legend such as yourself. So,
wow. Wow.
Don't
right.
take that the wrong way, though,
Well,
But, hey,
we're done.
thanks to all you guys. It's a great season. Wait till 2009. It's going to be even better.
And we're back here doing the same thing, so don't throw your computers away, folks. We'll be back next May. That's it. He's Andy Boyer. I'm Jason Wong at the RacerX Motocross Show. That's a wrap on 2008. Indeed, it was a perfect season. Thanks for watching.
And did you hear Ferry's panic right over there? Like, that's what you get.
Cut. Done. I said done. Rob, done. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cut.